moms, it's me, Suzanne. So this morning I have been thinking about something. I had an hour drive to the doctor's office, an hour drive home. I took Tate with me, but he wasn't too terrible in the car, so I was able to think, which is not something like I get to just sit and do often. I mean, I feel like with young kids, you know, you're thinking about things like nap time and snacks and things like that, and you don't always get to just sit and think and digest the things that happen to you. So we do a small group every Sunday night. I host it some nights, and I was supposed to host last night, but I just couldn't get my house clean. So I had a friend who is in our small group who offered to help and host. So I picked up barbecue, we went over to her house, and we were just sitting around the table just chatting about our kids and all the funny things that they do that stress us out. And I specifically was talking about Tate and how he is a danger to himself and how I cannot take my eyes off of him. And if I do like sneak away to go to the bathroom, I'll always come back to find him on the table, like trying to get the chandelier down or on the bar stools. I mean, I can't leave anything out on a counter because he'll move the bar stool, 19 months old, move the bar stool over to wherever and just climb up on the bar stool and climb up on the counter. I'm just afraid one day he's going to be injured. So anyway, I was ranting about Tate and his daredevil ways. And anyway, I was sitting across from a woman that I just love to death, and she has older kids that are already out of her house. And she just stopped the conversation and she made this face. I've got something to say, like, and then she proceeded to tell us that when she looks back on raising her kids, she feels like this stage that we are in, this stage with the young kids, while it was super hard for her and she dealt with all the same things that we did, just feeling overwhelmed and exhausted, like you can't keep up and, too many irons in the fire type of thing. She felt all that, but looking back, it was one of the easier times. And so we're all like, what? But she says, like, because when they get older, you add in the emotional component. And I don't mean emotions like, oh, they're crying for a bottle, or they're crying because their diaper is messed up, or even, you know, when they get a little bit older, when they're like my oldest son's age, who's about to turn 7, and they're upset because a toy broke, or, you know, they can't go do something they want to do with a friend. Or it gets more and more as time goes on when you add that emotional element. Their friends start hurting their feelings and they start feeling heartbroken, or the things that we have to discipline them about when they disobey become like just bigger and more emotional. It's not as much of like where you say, hey, go pick up your shoes, and they walk right past them. Like, that's disrespectful and disobedient, but like you're adding in a whole different emotional level when they get to be a certain age. So anyway, what that made me think of was how important this message that like we roar at you at a joyful roar is, because we have to figure out this joy thing. Like, we cannot just continue to let it be out of reach for us. Like it's impossible for us as moms to feel that kind of joy, because I just don't believe that's true. I don't. I think it is possible for us to live a joyful motherhood, and I think there are ways for us to do that. One thing that I say a lot is like, have a joyful daily practice. So we talk about, you know, thinking about the things that we're grateful for, writing them down, saying them out loud every day, coming up with your own version of how to be grateful on a daily basis. But that's not the only thing. There are other ways, and that is what we do all day, every day. We are constantly looking for ways to help ourselves and other moms realize the ability to find joy in motherhood, despite how exhausted we are, how we're balancing work life, wife life, and being just everything to everybody, but also realizing that even in the midst of all that, joy is possible. We are not going to get through this phase and suddenly be out of the woods. There are a lot of phases to come, and we need to arm ourselves with that kind of joy that cannot be stolen away by one bad mom moment. And we all have them. I've had several today. the last thing I wanted to say was, like, I truly believe that God equips us. So, like, as our kids grow and things get harder, we also grow and get better at handling those things. I just wanted to share that with y'all. I thought it was such a good thing for me to reflect on today, and I hope y'all have a wonderful Monday. Bye, moms.